και σε εκείνες τις χώρες υπάρχουν ευαισθησίες κτλ. Επόμενος ομιλητής λοιπόν είναι ο κύριος Ρόμπερτ Βίλιαμ Πεκ, ο οποίος είναι ο νέος πρέσβης του Καναδά. Έχει σπουδάσει ιστορία και δημοσιογραφία στα πανεπιστήμια του Καναδά. Ήταν εδώ στην Αθήνα σαν πολιτικός σύμβουλος της πρεσβείας στη δεκαετία του 90. Τον καλωσορίζω και εκείνο και τον παρακαλώ πολύ να έρθει στο βήμα. Ambassador, please.
Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ. Κύριοι βουλευτές, οι πρέσβοι της Αυστραλίας, κυρίες και κύριοι, είναι μεγάλη χαρά για μένα να είμαι μαζί σας σήμερα. Ξέρω ότι η Ελλάδα περνάει δύσκολες στιγμές, αλλά δεν είμαι απεσιόδοξος για το μέλλον της χώρας σας. Εγώ πιστεύω στο αθάνατο ελληνικό πνεύμα. As Canada's ambassador to the Hellenic Republic, it is my pleasure to be with you today. It is a privilege to be my country's representative as Canada and Greece this year mark 70 years of diplomatic relations. Canada's mining sector is one of the great Canadian success stories. I am pleased to be here today to share a bit about Canada's positive experience in this sector and to give you a sense of the important role the sector can play here as Greece strives to further develop its mining sector for the benefit of all. The mining sector has played a crucial role in the Canadian economy in several ways. Let me elaborate. Mineral production accounted for approximately 3% of Canada's gross national product in 2010. The mining industry contributed over $8.4 billion in taxes and royalties to governments in Canada in 2010. Money governments used to support education, infrastructure, healthcare, and environmental protection. 21% of total Canadian exports are from the minerals and metals sector. Canada's mining industry supports over 308,000 jobs, 1 in 50 jobs in Canada, in over 115 communities across Canada, many of which are rural or remote. The mining industry is often the primary employer in those communities. The mining sector is the primary employer of Canada's First Nations peoples. And the average weekly wage in the mining sector is well above the national average. A little known fact, the Canadian mining sector is a leader in research and development. In 2010, firms in the sector invested almost $550 million in R&D, more than the auto sector, one of Canada's largest industrial sectors, and employed almost 8,400 research and development workers in very well-paying jobs. Another little known fact, not that long ago, the mining sector was the single largest user of computers, robotics, and other high-tech applications, and was IBM's largest customer. Canada is the most important financial center for the global mining industry. Canadian mining companies operate over 350 mines outside Canada, including in Greece. Our government holds its firms to high standards, even where their operations are in countries with lower standards than in Canada. Canada is a world leader in the sustainable development of natural resources, and its global presence in the mining sector helps to provide global leadership in support of sustainable mining practices. I will now elaborate on 4 themes: the contribution of mining to the Canadian economy, Canada's regulatory framework, our global presence and leadership, and corporate social responsibility, CSR. A moment ago, I gave you a general overview of the size and scale of Canada's mining sector and its importance to our economy. Let me now give you a few more details. Canada has over 200 producing mines. We have over 1,400 exploration and mining companies. Canada has over 2,500 suppliers of mining equipment and services, and over 3,500 mineral and metal recycling operations. These firms and their activities cannot maximize their work without the contribution of Canada's highly developed and broad expertise in geosciences, and our sophisticated financial and legal institutions. Thus, Canada has well-developed side-stream activities that support or rely on the mining sector. These so-called side-stream industries and activities are an important part of Canada's overall economy that not only serve the domestic market, but increasingly work to support Canadian companies and their overseas interests as well. creating opportunities for international trade in goods and services beyond the export of the raw material themselves. In short, the size and scale of Canada's mining industry has led to the development of a world-class mining cluster. This provides additional contributions to Canada's economy. Our regulatory framework. To create this kind of success, Canada needed to establish and maintain a supportive regulatory framework that encourages mineral development. First, Canada has developed a globally competitive regime for mineral development that is designed to address the high-risk nature of exploration and development of mineral resources. Second, Canada is open to direct foreign investment in the sector. There's a long history of foreign ownership in Canada's mining sector. Federal corporate taxes, coupled with incentives to support exploration and mining, make Canada a favorable destination for investors seeking opportunities to develop mineral resources. Foreign companies enjoy national treatment, and the Investment Canada Act is not a barrier to investment. There are no barriers to establishing a new business in Canada's minerals and metals industries. Improvements in the area of environmental assessments are designed to simplify and make more efficient the approvals process. Foreign investors also enjoy full availability and access to geological information and statistics on minerals and metals. Repatriation of profits is permitted, and there are no import or export restrictions except on particular forms of uranium. There are no currency restrictions. And finally, Canada enjoys double taxation agreements with a number of countries, including Greece. A little bit about Canada's global presence and leadership. The figures are impressive. Over 1,400 countries, that is almost 60% of the world's publicly listed mining firms, are listed in Canada. As growth in demand for minerals and metals has sparked a global response to find new resources, Canadians are active at home and abroad, looking for mineral resources to develop Canadian companies, which today hold approximately 129 billion Canadian, 100 billion euros worth of assets in roughly 10,000 projects in over 120 countries around the world. Canadian companies are responsible for close to 40% of global exploration spending, and Canadian financial markets are responsible for 30% of the global equity raised for mine development. In short, Canada is home to some of the world's most active, productive, and technologically advanced mining companies, and Canadian firms are overwhelmingly positive corporate citizens that create jobs and prosperity around the world. In Europe, 46 Canadian firms hold mining assets in 12 European Union member states. More than half of those assets are in Spain, Portugal, and Finland. Within Greece, Canadian company Eldorado Gold recently acquired the assets of European Goldfields in early 2012, which operates the Stratoni lead zinc silver mine in northern Greece. This major step signaled Eldorado's deepening commitment to Greece, as it comes on top of Eldorado's Parama Hill gold mine project, which it first started pursuing in 2008. I am pleased to note that the Parama Hill project received its preliminary environmental impact assessment approval in late February and fast-track investment approval in early March. I am hopeful that the Eldorado investment, one of the largest single foreign investments in recent years in Greece, will serve as a catalyst for further foreign investment in this country. As Eldorado's CEO Paul Wright said last year, this investment is a vote of confidence in Greece. Canada's global presence is not just about resource development, but also about leadership in the sustainable development of those resources. In recognition of the important contribution mining can make to sustainable development, Canada has been playing a leadership role internationally to promote good governance and best practice in the industry. Canada promotes good governance through activities such as active participation in the United Nations Review of Mining in 2010 and 2011, working with Canadian industry and stakeholders to develop and actively implement a strategy on corporate social responsibility, CSR, for Canadian firms, support to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, EITI, and working with 42 other governments in the Intergovernmental Forum on Mining, Minerals, Metals,